Greetings. I am one of the owls of Athena, and today I will tell you a tale of the beginning. Well, one of the many tales of the beginning. In truth, there are as many tales as there are storytellers, and as it so happens, I am a storyteller. What was, is, and ever shall be. At first was the light, and the darkness. Long ago, mankind arose. And as he and his kind huddled round their fires, the sounds coming from the darkness were proof that monsters inhabited what was beyond the firelight. And in the darkness beyond the firelight, the creatures watched humanity. Some out of curiosity, but many considered them as rivals in the fight for survival. And above both the gods resided. Some of the gods observed mankind, but others paid no attention to mankind at all. Humanity grew in numbers and expanded outwards, and discovered that some of the horrors they had feared didn't exist at all. But others were quite real, and would claim the lives of those who got too close. And so, the eons passed. And humanity grew. And discovered that some of the horrors they had once feared then dismissed, were real. Glowing-eyed, sharp-fanged, sharp-clawed real. And thus war between humanity and the night terrors began. Wherever these two sides met, both in the physical and in the ideological realms, bloody wars broke out. No quarter was given by either side, it was a fight for survival, and the only way to win was to kill those on the opposite side. By any means necessary. Now as the war went on, the gods above began to take more interest in what humanity was doing. And watched as the war escalated between the two sides. And as the gods watched, they began to realize that this war could only end in the total destruction of both sides, of both humanity and the night terrors. And so, the gods debated within themselves on how to solve this problem. And in time found one. And so it was that the gods stepped up and with a wave of their hands, mixed both sides together, as a metal worker mixes together copper and tin to create a new metal called bronze. So, some of the night terrors ceased their attacks against humanity and became their allies, and became the ancestors of elves, sprites, and all other good creatures of the earth. And so, some of humanity became allies of the night terrors, and warred upon other members of humanity with the aid of their night terrors. And these terrors became the ancestors of trolls, demons, and other malignant beings that still exist in this world. New territories were marked out, and new battle lines drawn, and so the war continued. The gods watched for a time, knowing that thus mixed together whichever side won, both humanity and the terrors would continue to exist. But eventually the gods stopped watching humanity and went back to what they had been doing before. And at long last the blistering pace of the war began to break down, as did the battle lines. And as the battle lines broke down, they became smaller and smaller and smaller until they ceased enclosing entire nations and began enclosing smaller and smaller numbers of combatants. Where once the battle lines enclosed millions, they began to enclose thousands, then hundreds, then tens, then finally only one being. And when that happened, the war ended. But the struggle continued. Now it was individuals against individuals, assisted sometimes by both other individuals as well as good creatures as well as malignant beings. And in these battles there are often no winners on either side. And so it goes. Many humans have set aside their war, but others haven't. And continue the strife that is eons old. What was, is, and ever shall be. At first was the light, and the darkness.